things theology, all things theology. We chop it up properly without an apology. Gotta give doxology to God hollow, because this is how we do it at All Things Theology.
Yo, grace and peace, guys. Just want to welcome you to another episode of All Things Theology. I'm your host, Kdubtru, and thank you for watching this podcast. It means so much to me that you guys would take the time to check out my content. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. If you're watching on the podcast app, subscribe. Make sure you know when the notifications are coming. When I drop new episodes. Same for YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you know when new content is dropping. Leave a like and drop a comment. I try to be very interactive in the comments. I like interacting with people who agree, disagree. I try to communicate with those who are taking their busy time to watch this show, and I appreciate it. Now, for those who have been who are subscribed, who've watched this podcast material, you guys have know I've been interacting with Abraham Piper. Abraham Piper is John Piper's son, who has made it very known he's not a Christian and has been going on mocking Christianity. And I think I found my new calling. I think, I've been doing a lot of videos of interacting with TikTok videos. I myself don't even have a TikTok account. I just kind of see these videos floating around on Facebook or Twitter, and so I think I've been the last week or 2 weeks I've had 2 TikTok videos I've critiqued, and so yeah, that's what we will do in today's show. We're going to talk about Abraham Piper's continuing trajectory of mocking Christianity. Like, he really hates God, and he makes it very known. And so let me say this, because a lot of people had, I think, a lot of negative things to say about John Piper. I'll stay a little here, but I'll share a lot of my comments for the end. So make sure you watch to the end of this video, this show here, so that you can hear my comments on John Piper. But I think a lot of people had a lot of unfair things to say about John Piper. It's kind of sad to see a lot of those comments, but without further ado, let's get into the video.
Take this comment piece by piece. It's going to be fun.
Oh, and so he's actually commenting to someone saying, "Hey, like all your videos seem to be attacking Christianity." Like, and hey, go on his TikTok account, and a lot of his videos are directed towards Christianity and his hatred towards it. I mean, he doesn't hide that fact.
1, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. 2, I post what I'm thinking about, so yes, my themes come and go. 3, is one of my themes attacking Christianity? No.
Yes. Like I said, go on his TikTok account. It's very much that's the case. As we saw in the last video, I mean, he's going to do it here in this video, but he pretty much calls the flavor of Christianity he doesn't like. I mean, everybody in that, it's idiots. You have to be careful making that kind of statement like that, broad brushing everyone. It's like, all these people over here that are the dumb guys. Because I any movement you disdain or hate or dislike or whatever, you can always find a lot of people who are brilliant. I mean, I'm not a liberal. I'm not, a part of the left, but I know that there are many smart people in that movement. I'm not a Roman Catholic, but I know many smart Roman Catholics. So, but he doesn't seem to think there's any intelligent, well thought out fundamentalists. And we're going to talk more about that term fundamentalist here in a second.
Attack Christianity. I berate evangelicalism, fundamentalism. It's a destructive, narrow-minded worldview.
So, boom. If you're an evangelical, if you're a fundamentalist, you have a destructive, narrow-minded worldview. So, I mean, that kind of itself kind of just, and like I said, we're going to be doing 2 of his TikTok videos. And I don't think he has a worldview to call anything destructive or narrow-minded for that meaning. But people throw out this term fundamentalism, and evangelicalism is kind of being used in this way today. But clearly, fundamentalism is being used in this way where, if you don't like someone, who it's just kind of thrown around as ad hominem, like, oh, you're a fundamentalist, you believe in the you know, that the Bible is the word of God. You're all fundamentalists. It's like, well, historically that term, yeah, means, you know, you're held to the fundamentals of the faith, but now it's just kind of used as, hey, ignore these guys, they're fundamentalists, you know, and so um, it's kind of being used here in that same sense. I don't know the variety of his audience. I don't know if a lot of Christians still follow him or what, but he's apostatized from the faith. He's no longer a Christian. That's obvious. But he calls Christianity or fundamentalism, uh, evangelicalism, a destructive, narrow-minded worldview. Um, Pretty interesting, Abraham. He doesn't get into why it's destructive, but um, yeah, I would love to hear his reasons.
And one of the most destructive, narrow-minded aspects of it is that its adherents feel as if they are the entirety of Christianity, rather than the tiny sliver of it that they actually are.
Oh wait, he does give one reason. It's like he's like, if you're an evangelical or you're a um, fundamentalist, you think you're all that. Your little group is all there is, and it's like that's not even true. Let me say this: is that attitude in some circles? Oh yeah, for sure. But to, like I said, the broad brush a whole movement of people who, like I said, who would be well thought out and would make these distinctions and say, well, yeah, of course, you know, there's more than Christianity. So I'm a Reformed Baptist. There's more than Christianity, Reformed Baptist. You know, there's Presbyterians and things like that. You know, people who aren't Reformed, and so yeah. And but he just they think that, you know, it's all Christianity. It's and uh, an interesting thing is, why would he care? Like, if he hates Christianity, like why is that like such a close to heart issue? You know what I mean? Because I know his father wouldn't not teach something like this, so he's not even critiquing something that's like what he grew up in. His dad wasn't a quote unquote fundamentalist, not in the way he's defining that. Because if this is a part of fundamentalists, his dad wasn't that. You know,
Evangelicalism is a toddler tradition that's cousins with Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy, and the
it's like evangelicals. You're the toddlers. You're the little kids. Go. You know, reminds me of growing up. You know, when the grown folks would eat, we had the little kids table. Y'all go sit over there. Y'all go have food. Y'all let the grown folks talk over here. You know, Roman Catholicism and, you know, Eastern Orthodox. As if you sat down with him, as if he thought those were actually uh, good things. You know, or um, I guess I don't know, true. You know, I don't even know if he would use that term, but it's not like he agrees with Roman Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy. So I don't know, because, you know, and like I said, I'm not Catholicism. I have major issues with Roman Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy, but they share much more in common together than he does with any of these groups. So I don't know why he's like, yeah, I side more. Like, I don't know, just making it like trying to pin everybody together when he has issues with all of them, you know? So very confusing.
knows little sibling of mainline Protestant denominations. So yes, I'm out here saying fundamentalism is bizarre, anti-intellectual bullshit, but that's not
Yeah, you guys are idiots. You Protestants, you are anti-intellectual. You guys, you know, you guys don't think. You guys don't think deeply about your faith, and you guys don't interact with the world. Oh, wait, we actually, yes, Protestants have been doing that since the very conception of what you will label Protestant. Christians go out, Protestants go out sharing their faith. Hey, I would love to talk with, put like this, anti-intellectual, uh, all things theology podcast would love to have a sit down with Abraham Piper. You know, but I find many, it's the unbelievers, the atheists, the agnostics who don't want to have conversations with the anti-intellectuals. You know what I mean? Like, let's have a dialogue. You know.
attacking Christianity. Christianity is a big family. I'm just saying that one of the kids is being kind of a brat.
I'm not attacking Christianity, but all of you guys are anti-intellectuals. But I'm not attacking you. It's just, it's not attacks.
And most of the rest of the family agrees. This is a fun analogy. Now, as for the rest of this comment, one, I don't teach. If you learn something, that's all you. Good job. I'm just out here talking to myself like a lunatic. And 2, I don't think I've ever said to love everyone. That sounds exhausting.
Yeah, so there you have it. That's just one of the videos. We got one more video to do because I'm going to challenge him on his worldview. I believe that Abraham Piper is inconsistent. He does not actually possess a worldview. He's just floating around in agnosticism, something, and just calling Christianity narrow-minded, anti-intellectual, destructive. It sounds like he would say Christianity is not good for society. But you guys know me as a presuppositionalist. According to what standard would you say those things, Abraham? Mr. Piper? Let's continue with his next.
If you ever quit a religion, did you become something else? Because you don't have to. I didn't always realize this. I grew up fundamentalist Christian, and for years as I was quitting, I asked myself, what am I now instead? Am I a mainline Christian? Am I a progressive Christian? Am I, horror of horrors, an atheist? I didn't want to land anywhere.
But here's the issue. You will land somewhere. And you may not come to an altar bowing down to some God. People think like that. No. Since you've apostatized from the Christian worldview, you will land to another worldview. That, guess what? Worldviews dictate how you live, what you believe, your ultimate authorities, epistemology issues, all these sorts of issues. Worldviews dictate that, And so, yes, since you've abandoned Christianity, you've abandoned the Christian worldview, it's only logical for someone to ask, what worldview now are you adopting? What worldview are you adopting now that gives you answers for things like morality, truth, epistemology, rationality, logic, meaning, beauty, all these things? It's easy to just sweep it under the rug. Like, I ain't got to worry about that. I'm not a Christian. But hold on. Okay, now that you are a Christian, we have some questions for you. The anti-intellectuals, of course, because we don't think about these things ever. Of course we do.
And my curiosity and my reading expanded. I resonated with Camus and the tension he famously noted. Does that mean I'm an absurdist? I couldn't stop underlining Seneca or Marcus Aurelius. Does that mean I'm a stoic? If so, I'm not a very good one. And then along came Alan Watts. Fuck me, am I supposed to incorporate Eastern philosophy too? Who has time for this? So I read the Tao Te Ching, and that made so little sense, I knew it must be.
Who has time for this? Who has time to think about their worldview and, the beliefs they've adopted, I mean, it's coming from the anti-intellectual, though, I mean.
True. Does that mean I'm a Taoist? What's the difference between that and Zen? How does a Westerner become a Buddhist? What does become a Buddhist even mean? I don't know any of this. I don't know enough to be anything. And that was my breakthrough.
I mean, but how would that be reassuring? That your epistemology, your theory of knowledge is you don't know anything or enough of anything, and that's actually comforting to you. This lack of knowledge that you have. But I know this is coming from the anti-intellectual, so I don't know. Might not get it. But how does lack of knowledge comfort you and what you're to know, what you're to believe in worldview issues? It kind of seems oxymoronic.
I have to know enough to be anything, because I don't have to be anything. I don't have to say what I am. I can be nothing.
But in this nothingness, you will be something. You may not label yourself as something. You may not want to label yourself a nihilist. But if you say that there's no meaning to anything, I mean, okay, don't call yourself the term, but you adopted that philosophy. It's like someone saying, hey, I believe in multiple gods, but don't call me a polytheist. Okay. Words have meanings. It's like I don't think we should be afraid of these labels and terms and things like that.
Nothing.
And that's Abraham Piper being breathe away into the nothingness. And I'm sorry, I can't do it. Oh man, guys, we have to think through our worldview. We have to be, and then I'm speaking to my audience. Because these are the challenges out there that this is what the world thinks. This is what non-Christians thinks of Christians. I don't think they're justified in thinking this about Christians, but don't give them reasons to think that. Of course, that was a bunch of slander we just heard. But in this worldview, why is truth a noble thing? Why tell truth? Why not lie to get what you want? Why not be selfish? Like I said, these are things he has to answer, I believe, in his worldview. I would love to know what his worldview is, what his philosophy is on truth and morality, like I said. You don't get to just bypass these stuff no more because you're not a Christian and you have no revelation from God on what to believe about these things. You don't get to just like, y'all let you anti-intellectuals deal with silly questions like that. No. You should have answers for these things. Like I said, for my audience, know what you believe. Be able to defend what you believe because you have hostile opponents out there like Abraham Piper. Be ready. The Bible tells us to be ready for the hope, be ready to give the offense for the hope that lies within us, but to do it with gentleness and respect. We should be ready to do that. So, guys, thank you for watching All Things Theology. Again, I am Kdub. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. Before I do my closeout, you know what I forgot? I forgot to give my thoughts about the John Piper situation I said I was going to do. So, hold on. Wait a minute. um, a lot of people had some unkind things, unfair things to say about John Piper. A lot of people were saying, like, well, he wasn't a good father, that now he's unqualified to be in the ministry. And I think those things were not helpful, one, to the conversation for this one. But remember, I think I said in the last video, we're discounting the sovereignty of God. God is sovereign over the salvation. And it's not like if I'm pastoring and my kid at 30 years old wants to do what he wants to, that now disqualifies the pastor. I think people are abusing the text on that. But like I said, um, I, I don't think we should throw the blame at John Piper. And so I know I've addressed a few of those comments in the last video. Check that out. Matter of fact, if you haven't watched the first video, go check that one out. And hope it blesses you. So, guys, till the next time, grace and peace.